This is Pastor Troy. I hope you're doing well. We are wrapping up season 2, but you know what that means? The best of season 2. Here it comes. It's coming right at you in just a minute, but don't worry. We're in the studio. We're getting ready. We're getting things lined up, and very soon we'll be unveiling season 3 of On the Dock. In the meantime, you can go back, watch season 1. Check it out. It is fantastic. It's not outdated. Go catch it. And now we're in season 2, and get ready for this best of season 2 episode. On the dock.org every Tuesday and Thursday, dropping new shows. And we're going to get you, guess what? Off and out of the shallows and into the deep. We're going to have a great conversation today. Man, part 1 of this was great. You're ready for part 2. It's going to get much deeper. You're going to find out more about it. But you got to get on YouTube to find us, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Facebook, Roku, Rumble, and Sermonet. You can find us on those as well. But we really like YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. They take good care of us. Go there. And we also would love to hear your inquiries, your comments, all positive. You can ask real questions, but we just don't want anything nasty. We don't do nasty. We'll delete you. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Telegram, Getter, because we're about lifting up people in the name of Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. But if you're wanting to find out more, just enter into conversation with us. Love to hear you. Once you find us, hit subscribe, like, notify, comments, hit notification on your platform so you always know when we're bringing another one at you. And we'd love to have a partner and sponsor through Patreon. Go to Patreon, look up On the Dock, and there's 4 ways to partner, 3 ways to sponsor. We can talk about your organization, your business, and connect with you and make you a part of our show here, right here. Today, I didn't mention this much in the first show, but John brought us in. Look at this. It's a Heron House of Hope. Man, that's like a nice cup. That's like a Yeti. I mean, that's top-notch stuff. I got my drink in it. He brought it in. I dumped my drink from my other one into it. He did bring Mother Beth of it, but he's merchandising it over there. Look at that. It's a smaller version. I mean, and look here. Look, if you on the dock.org, there you go. Well, that's a good move, John. I love that. That looks great. It's great.
Those are great.
But if you want to be a Patreon partner, we'll get you here. We'll talk to you about what you're doing. This is a special program we're doing, but we'd love to do this with you as well. So go to Patreon, let us know. And you can go to onthedock.org to find that. You can find all of our platforms there, and it'll link you over to it. It'll make it easy if you don't know how to do stuff. And if you have questions, just email us at info@onthedock.org. We'll fill out the information. We'll get it back to you. Enter into relationship. I'm Pastor Troy. I'm your host here. Got Mother Beth on platform with me today. How you doing, Mother Beth?
I'm good, honey. How are you?
Hi, honey. I'm doing good too. We've been apart, so we're glad to see each other again. And
I'm tired.
I've been jet setting back and forth between Florida. I had a tragic death in our family. Stepfather passed away after a 12, 13-day bout with some sort of lung issue and didn't make it. And we're going to be going back again. So I've been to Florida twice in 10 days, have not touched beach or water. Other than, shower, yes. But really, we have a pool at the place. I haven't even got into that. You know? No. Not even been on the water. I mean, I had a meal in front of water. So that's about the best they got. So, but God is good. And through all that, we've seen amazing things happen. I got Lucas Winkler in stage. Lucas hasn't been to the beach with me. He didn't go down with me, but I don't see him much these days. He's always going someplace. Where's the coolest place you've been in the last 7 days?
Ooh, that's tough. I mean, I was at NASCAR last week.
I heard. I thought I saw you as it went.
Yeah.
You were in one of the cars, or were you just off the side?
No, I was off to the side. I wouldn't trust myself going that fast.
So you were off there. Lucas is always someplace. He could be Nashville someplace doing a shoot, or anywhere in the world. You know,
he lives in our house, but we never see him.
I hear you go. You won't be. You'll be in a cave soon when you go into the cave.
Yeah, it's in caves in 2 weeks.
No, man. So you're a cool dude, man. Who's the coolest dude you've ever run sound for? Coolest? Can you say?
Ooh, I don't know.
Is it secretive?
You know what? I'm blanking on the band.
It doesn't have to be a Christian. I know. I know you do Christian stuff, a lot of Christian stuff, because all of us beg you.
Just gonna say,
I would say Nelly is definitely the top 2 for sure.
Yeah, somebody who
guess who the band was he had this year on the stage.
Who's that?
What's the
which
band
one?
that does the song? I said I love that song. That's one of my favorite songs.
Golly, that leaves a lot of blanks.
But the-
You know how many
I'm
songs
not sure what you're talking about.
Oh, come on. I said I know every word to that song.
Oh, Flow Rida.
Flow right? Really?
They sing that one song that I
That's
like
right.
that the Cleverleys do.
The Cleverleys. That's right. The best favorite group
I
out
love
there. The
that song.
Cleverleys. Go watch them.
They
So-
were at NASCAR this year.
What?
Yeah,
The Cleverleys were.
No,
the-
Flow Rida
Oh,
was.
The
They
ones
say-
that originally did
That
the
helps
song.
me better. I was getting
And
her.
Dirks Bentley was there. I mean,
I
that's
know.
big country guy.
You've been out to Kansas City Chief pre-games and stuff, which my
Yeah.
stepdad was a Kansas City person, Chiefs fan. So well, you're back with us. The amazing Heron House of Hope, an On the Dock season 2 Ministry in Action Spotlight. This is the kind of show, if you watch a series, that we would do with you if you were a Patreon partner or sponsor with us. We're glad to work with you on this. So we're doing a Ministry in Action Spotlight series. Love to do those things. We've got Mr. John Steve here, part 2, and the backstory is about you. This show here, the first show we gave you kind of what's happening. Today, what the amazing Heron House Hope is doing. Go watch part 1. But today, we want to dial in on the man behind the amazing Heron House of Hope. John, you told us in the previous episode there at 112 North 14th Street, serving people every day, Monday through Friday, at least 11 to what? 1?
Yeah.
One, got all kinds of programs he told us about. Just a recursor. He has soup kitchen, but not really a soup kitchen. It's really more of a restaurant. You don't have to pay. There's an envelope on the table if you want to give a gift. You're not expected to give a gift, but anybody's welcome to bless other people. Food pantry, thrift store, bike resurrection program, catering, GED program, a program through John A. Logan, AmeriCorps job training program, commodities distribution, just so much more. So we talked all about that in part 1. Go watch part 1. But what we want to get at is John Steve. Now let me show you a little bit about John Steve. I want to run a video on John Steve. Then we're going to get into John Steve, and get into this man. And we talked about you're married, Alyssa, right? Happily married?
Happily married.
Would you admit it if you weren't? No. He shakes his head. No. I saw him at church Sunday. They're like happily married, at least for that moment in time. She
Lucas,
said,
you're taking notes, right?
Yep.
Alyssa sat next to him. Your wife's got, I was in the back. You were sitting not where you normally sit to the side when I was prayer walking. Your wife's got long hair.
Yes.
I mean,
It's pink, too. Yeah.
I know it's long pink hair, but it's long. It's way down long. It's like, I
Because she
think-
wears it up a lot. So
yeah,
you
yes,
know,
I didn't know how long her hair. You have long hair.
But not like that.
But not like that. I know. But she might have the longest hair in the church. We may have to have the longest hair in the church competition.
Yeah.
Right now, everybody see my hair. I have missed 3 haircuts in a row. I got.
Yeah, you're trying
What
to
I did
catch
was
up
look.
with her, aren't you?
I stood it up and then I had to knock it. I had to knock it down. And my haircut. I missed my last 3 appointments with my barber. I had to move
Because
because
you're
all
in
family
Florida.
stuff. But tomorrow morning.
I was gonna get one today. I said, no, Troy's taking one for the team. I'll do one too.
Tomorrow, I see my barber at 11 o'clock. And I just realized, man, I got another appointment at 10:30. I got to see if I can move that 30 minutes or something. Oh my gosh! So I got to get this haircut. I'm going to be competing with your wife in the long hair competition. Don't do that. So let me show you this video real quick here. I gotta find it, y'all bear with me a second here. I've got 16,000 videos here. The Heron House Hope. Don't do that one. That was a bad one. That was a bad move. I should have clicked the button. All right, I think I got it. I got it here. Here we go. You guys ready for this one? Check out this incredible intro to the Heron House Hope, and we'll get ready for the backstory on this man right here.
Hey everyone, John Steve, your director of Heron House of Hope here in Heron, Illinois. We're here just to tell you that we are more than just a soup kitchen. We've been able to establish not just a soup kitchen, but a food pantry, a thrift store, a free summer meal program, free GD classes from Johnny Logan Community College. I want to talk about and elaborate on each of these programs here, what we've been able to accomplish through your generosity and through your support. Heron House of Hope Soup Kitchen became the first soup kitchen in the whole entire region to operate as a restaurant style. What does that mean? That means anyone in our community can come in here for a free meal. You are greeted by a volunteer who will greet you, welcome you as you walk in, and then you get to walk in and sit down in the dining room, have a seat anywhere you like. There's a menu on the wall. Every person is given a 2 entree choice, Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Our volunteers are always on standby and will love to serve you. So please come to Heron House of Hope, to our soup kitchen between 11 a.m. 1 p.m. Monday to Friday, and let us serve you. We also have our thrift store. Anything that's generated in the thrift store goes and supports our soup kitchen. So anyone's more than welcome to make a donation to our thrift store. please come shop in our thrift store. Our team in our thrift store will love to assist you with any household items, with any clothing items as well. Please consider Heron House of Hope Thrift Store to support, because again, you are supporting those in need through hunger relief in our soup kitchen. We also have a great food pantry here as well. The food pantry, everything is donated and generated from the community support. So we truly appreciate your support. Any donated items goes in to assist those in need on a monthly basis with food assistance. We also have the free summer meal program through the Illinois State Board of Education. We want to get the word out that every child in the community does not need to be hungry at all. While they're out of school from May to August, we would like to feed every child under 18 as much as possible. Since 2013, we've been able to establish a wonderful relationship with Johnny Logan Community College to offer their free GED classes here on site at Heron House of Hope. And that's between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. Any information needed for the GED program, please reach out to Johnny Logan Community College. As I mentioned, the soup kitchen, the thrift store, our summer meal program, our free GED classes, but also our food pantry. So please let us assist you to the best as possible. And nothing else, man, my goodness, we have volunteers and patrons on standby who would love to give you a testimony. Because of your generosity and your support, their life has been truly impacted.
Wow. That's pretty good, John.
I shouldn't have to say anything else, right?
I know. I mean, you did a good job with that.
That's great. Yeah.
Hey, would you help us, Lucas, for a second?
Yeah.
This was produced by Daniel Lopez, correct?
And me.
And you, the two of you, you guys did this.
Yeah.
I just want you to know the quality of all these items you do for us is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It tells the story so good. We had videos in the past and people have helped us, and we thank God for them. They got us here. But to have you guys come in and capture what we've done there, even the sky camera that on the with flying thing Daniel does,
the drone,
and the camera work and the editing y'all have done, just I feel like I mean what you're seeing is authentic.
Yeah.
So is there a way people can reach out to you if they need to? I know you guys are professionals. We hired you guys to do that. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I mean, the best thing you can do is Daniel no longer lives in Southern Illinois. He actually lives in Nashville now, working for a huge agency there. But if they do want to reach out to me, and I can always call Daniel and have him assist me on a shoot, you can go to produceperform.com and fill out the form there and just give me a contact, and we can get the ball rolling on any project and anything.
Repeat that again.
Produceperform.com.
Okay. And if you don't lose that, don't worry. Just email us at info@onthedock.org. Ask Donna to give you contact information for Lucas Winkler, and we'll get him to you. They do a phenomenal job. These guys love the Lord. And if you've got a church or you've got a project that you want to highlight, spend the resources, because the resources will make themselves back in the way we get support. We put this out last year. I'm going to say this. We put this out last year. These are new videos. 10 year was our 10-year anniversary last year, and those videos raised last year $60,000.
Wow.
We did that at a Family Fun Day last year. That's just an example of those, and we'll be using those for a while. They're not dated, so we were smart on it. We can use those for 4 or 5 years. We use the other ones about 6 years too long. John and I look totally different, and the previous year we raised $76,000 using that kind of production.
Wow.
Just amazing. And what's cool about this one is what I love about this one. Let me go back to 2020. We raised that during COVID when nobody could come to Family Fun Day.
Yeah.
72,000. All these numbers are twice what we used to raise by ourselves in the park. And we've got one coming again September 11th. John and I are fixing to get to work on that. We got to talk about how we're going to do that with us going, but we know how to do it. So September 11th, look for Family Fun Day. Great videos, Lucas. And I'll tell you what, John, Lucas knows if I get it in one take. If not, it could take me 12. And I'm good on the fly. I did mine on the fly too. But you're also a great on the fly. And that's what I love about working with you is that. So John is behind the Amazing House Up is this man, John Steve. We know married. We know you got 3 kids. But John, I know when I was first introduced to you, it wasn't you. It was a man named Mike. He came and said, we were young. We hadn't started yet. Had we done our first Family Fun Day pre yet? We'd already done first one.
Yes.
We had our first year, which means we were in the were we renovating the building?
Correct. We
Okay,
just got the
good.
building.
Thank you for helping me. We raised one. We did a Family Fun Day with nothing, and we raised a bunch of money and commitment, and we began to buy a building and renovate a building, and it took a year almost to do that. As we got closer to the next Family Fun Day, our plan was to have it ready to launch. And before that, we began a search for a director. And we got steered. The brother that had pointed us his direction didn't know John from Adam. I just didn't like the idea because I've been involved in Methodist Church and I'd interacted with the agency before. And I thought, man, these things are always kind of got a lot of loopholes, and I don't know if I want to do this. I want to stay independent. I was the negative one of that. I was like a negative Nelly.
Because of who John was coming, the organization that he was coming through.
And the organization is okay, but it's just that I just come out of a denomination. I'm non-denom. I thought, man, this group's got a lot of baggage and stuff. I don't know if I want to jump through all these hoops and all that stuff. And so they said, you just got to hear the guy. Yeah, hear the guy. So we pre-met before you walked in the room, John. And I just told him, I said, you guys know I'm going to be bad cop. So we had good cop, bad cop. And when John came in, he began to talk. And when the meeting got over, I was good cop, and they weren't bad cop. They were just good cops. We had nobody who was a bad cop when he got done. And it just, I mean, when you left the room and I said, I moved this, they were shocked. Yeah. I said, I don't even talk to anybody else. This is the man. This is the man behind the Amazing House of Hope.
I never asked how many individuals you guys interviewed.
We talked about several names and people.
Yeah.
And we talked, and we're going to bring other people in. And I just looked and said, I move it to be John Steve.
Yeah.
And when I didn't want anybody from those agencies. I didn't know what we were going to do. But when they said that, everybody's like, we got Mikey likes it, you know. It was like, so that's how it happened. I mean, it just did. I mean, there was not a need to look. Everybody in the room knew the Holy Ghost said it's going to be John Steve. John, tell us, how did you, before that meeting, you were amazing. You've got, I mean, when they told me about you, I thought, man, this dude's got time behind him. He's got trouble. Tell me about your background.
Yeah, gosh, I remember that interview like it was yesterday. I mean, I don't know why. I was under the impression there was going to be a one-on-one interview.
Oh,
I walked in the room.
You didn't know it was going to be a whole committee and a firing squad?
It was a whole panel.
And I'm looking at him like,
I was like, no.
Oh, gosh.
Who's this guy from Chicago? I'm born from Chicago, so I shouldn't gripe, So, but who's this guy? Because it's like Shark Tank, and we're the guys.
Yeah.
You got to present it. Go ahead.
I knew. So the interview went well. At least I thought it did.
It went fantastic.
So maybe the first 30, 40 minutes went by, and how I knew there were smart individuals in the room. They said, well, we heard you, and you answered all our questions very well. I believe what was said. And they said, Troy was the one that says, I just got one more question. What led you down here?
Yeah.
And where are you striving to be in life? That led into another whole 30, 40-minute interview.
That's where you got me. You answered it. You answered. You shared your heart.
Because I tried to withhold my actual past and what I had overcame and what I'm going through. And at the time, my brother had just gotten killed. And my gosh, there was just so much on my plate. And,
he was killed in Chicago.
Correct. And I thought maybe my past wouldn't, it would hinder me. So, and that's when everything came out. When Troy asked the question, when I thought the interview was done, I was like, yes, no.
We get done with the interview, and people are like, my problem was never that you were in prison, that you had to do time. My problem was you're from Chicago, and that agency was recommending you. And I thought, I don't know about this, I'm a lure of institutions, And as you talked, I was just in love. And when you answered my question with just this powerful testimony, I mean, you had me. It's so funny when you got done, the room flipped a little bit when we had the discussion. A couple of them were like, well, how are we going to explain this to our congregations that he did time, Right. And I was like, who cares? Look what he's come from. Look what he's done. The people he's going to serve, and he's going to give them the hope. 1 Peter 3:15. That's my life text. 1 Peter 3:15. I'll show you right here. Be prepared in your hearts to set apart Christ as Lord, and be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. John answered that question. Bells on.
Yeah.
And he did it with gentleness and respect. And you did that. I told people, I don't care what you tell your people. Tell your people that's a guy that can get them out of it. All of us preaching at them. I mean, we just sound like the preacher man. Yeah. And I just loved it. Go ahead. Tell us what happened.
No, I when you asked that question, I took a deep breath. And I said, Holy Spirit, just please lead me. Man, let every word be your word from there. Yeah, so, gosh. So, long story short, man, I grew up in Southside Chicago.
On the South Side.
South Side, not your suburb.
Is that the song, Leroy Brown? Is that the same side that's the Bad Leroy Brown?
Bad, yeah.
Was he on the South Side?
I
think it's from the South Side of Chicago.
You got people that say, I'm from Chicago, but they're from a suburb. And so, no, I'm not one of those. I'm what you would call the ghetto.
The ghetto, okay.
The ghetto, and that's just dominated by gangs. Generation through generation of
For
families.
years, and the legacy.
Yes.
You're born into even legacy of games.
Correct. Where a typical age is around 10, 11 years old that joins a gang.
Already?
Wow. I was 11 when I joined the gang.
Wow.
And I remember the first individual I witnessed get killed in front of me. My siblings, my father and mother, bless their hearts, they did the best they could for us. But me and my two brothers always slept on the living room floor. My sisters, they shared the same bedroom. As we were just like to go to bed for the next morning to go to school. Not even within 15 minutes, my parents go in the room, and then I see flashes, and I thought it was lightning. I hear the sound of the gunshots, and I thought it was thunder.
Wow.
When something happens like that, everyone goes outside from the neighborhood to see what happens.
Most people here would run for cover.
Hey, we're out for cover. No, it's the opposite.
It's ordinary noise in Chicago. You want to find out where it's going.
I remember I was so curious. I went to the window to look. My father's yelling at me, almost whacked me behind me. Get down to look at the window. So they call the police, the ambulance, and everyone's out there. My father, because he knew I already had interest to get involved with the gangs, or at least I was just hanging with some people I shouldn't be hanging with. He decides while the guy is screaming on the ground, bleeding to death, my father decides to drag me across the street to
South side of Chicago, parent education time.
Yeah.
One-on-one.
So you got to watch a man die from that life.
I'm hearing this man screaming for his life.
Oh.
I'm hearing my mother screaming, begging my father not to do that.
Wow.
Behind me.
Yeah.
And I'm just in tears crying because I was just powerless.
Yeah.
And I just watched the man die in front of me. 10 years, about to be 11 years old.
Wow.
That was, what are you, trauma.
That's how you start.
That's
a trauma right off the bat.
Off the back.
And everybody there is multiple traumas
Yeah.
on a regular occurrence.
Yeah.
This last weekend, it was, I saw 55 people were shot in Chicago.
Yeah.
I think there were 20 killed. I mean, that's 55 people that could have been killed. Some bad shots, thank God. But 20 people killed, 55 shot. That's more than you will see in Iraq or Iran, or you'll see in sometimes Ukraine. There probably wasn't 55 people killed in Ukraine that day. That's an ordinary weekend. It's a rough place.
It is. It's very rough, and so fortunately, when you grow up in a community like that, and when that's all you know, that's all you see, that's all you hear, that type of life.
Will people turn to the gangs for protection so they can find a safer place?
Some you got some who are forced into a gang at the young age,
Right.
As I mentioned, you got some that you feel like you have no choice because maybe you decide not to join a gang, but your best friend who you're going to 6th grade class with, he joins a gang, and you guys are walking from school going home, or walking to school from home, and the rival gang comes by and sees you hanging with them, walking with them, and you're guilty by association.
Is this 6th grade and you're guilty at sixth?
Yeah.
At 6th grade, you can be guilty.
You have to look over your shoulder. It's survival moment by moment while you're at 5th, 6th grade. It's just sad.
I know one of the craziest things after we'll keep going with your story here. I remember the first Family Fun Day you were here. We were out there and you brought, was it your cousin or nephew?
My nephew.
Your nephew, and he was like 4 years old.
Yeah, just turned 4.
Okay, and tell that story about that, because we were fixing to be interviewed by ABC. Mark Kiesling was on site, and we put out a press release that everybody, all 3 networks show up. It's a big news story here in House Hope Fun Day. We're always a good news story. They show up. It's a festival atmosphere, party atmosphere. We're selling food, music on stage. They're having a good time.
Pony rides.
Yeah, they got the cameras set up. There's pony
Cakewalk.
rides. It's everything for the family. And Mark's got his crew set up, and they're getting ready. They said, Troy, we want to interview this John Steve. Bring him over. Tell us what happened with you, because you had your nephew here.
As soon as I believe it was Mark Kisley, as soon as he made that statement,
Yeah, it was Mark.
We're ready for the interview. My nephew, who was just turned 4 years old, he was down here because of what just happened. What just happened in Chicago was he was caught in the crossfire of a gang shooting. They were actually trying to shoot, the rival gang was trying to shoot at my sister and her boyfriend.
Oh, my.
They were trying to shoot at my sister and my boyfriend because they refused to move out the neighborhood. Wow. They were living in the neighborhood they were not supposed to be living in.
So you're a sign. You can just be living in the wrong place.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, my siblings all have gang tattoos. When I say it's a miracle, I don't have teardrops. It's a miracle.
It's a miracle.
And I'm glad that God gave me the courage, the strength not to give into temptation. But there's
Wow.
been so many where I should have. There's no reason why I should not have gang tattoos over my forearms, my teardrops, or my neck. My brothers, my sisters, they all have tattoos everywhere.
So the sister,
Everywhere.
the girls joined the gangs too.
Correct.
It's-
And so my sister was dating a guy at the time, and again he had tattoos everywhere. He had teardrops, and they were again living in the neighborhood they were not supposed to be. The rival gang seen them outside, decided to start shooting. Right before they started shooting, my nephew comes out the gangway to get my mother's attention because his sister, there was something wrong with his sister in the apartment. So he had just went to go get my mother's attention, like he was supposed to. By that time, it was too late. They had started shooting.
Oh, my.
Missed my sister, missed her boyfriend, and shot him. And the bullet went through his
A
stomach.
4-year-old boy
4-year-old boy.
shot through the stomach,
Correct.
and he lives.
He was in critical condition for a whole week.
and now he's in Southern Illinois healing up.
Healing.
I saw the scar. He showed me the wound.
Yeah.
The little boy showed me the
Yeah,
wound.
you want to see my owie or
Yeah, yeah,
my
my yeah. Little kid can't
My
even say
boo-boo.
what it was.
Yeah.
My boo boo. And though he was stunned, I saw when Mark asked you to come over, and he was like, there's a microphone here. His first words to me were, I'd met him. He says, "Can I be this close? Where are the bodyguards?" And I think his words were, "What happened here?"
What happened? Did somebody get shot?
Because where he's from, the media comes out when.
When somebody gets shot?
It's something bad's happened.
Something bad, yeah.
And up there, the reporters have to have bodyguards to watch themselves and protect them there, or they would be shot at. So he's asking. We're at a festival. We got children's rides, ponies, and stuff. And this little 4-year-old is like, I can't be near this guy. I'm going to get pulled down by a bodyguard and who got shot. So you're 4 years old and you've already had this traumatic event. And not just traumatic, you're a victim of it. Just amazing to see his face later as he got to go ride and go do all this stuff.
Got to have so much fun that day and not to have to worry about anything,
Yeah.
I remember that day like it was just yesterday, man. And
I do too.
When
I do too.
I would never expect for him to. I guess I should have known better. But I had already lived down here for so long, and he had that had just happened to him where he just got shot. He's down here trying to recover, and man,
Just amazing.
he just totally shocked us. He just shocked us with those words.
So tell me, you recognize things were going on, but you got in trouble. Tell me how you got in trouble and how you got out, and then how did you get here?
Oh my goodness!
You made it through the interview, but how did
Yes.
you get here?
Yeah. So I lived a rough life. And I'm just very fortunate to be here to talk about it and to just been blessed, man. Been redeemed by grace and turn my life around.
But you did join the gang,
I did
even
join the
after your
gang.
dad
I
took
did.
you out to.
After the midst of everything that had happened, the midst of regardless of how many friends already had lost, I had lost because they had gotten shot and killed. I still decided to join the gang at 11 years old. And from the age of 11 to the age of 17, I just lived a lifestyle of insanity,
Yeah, wow.
violence, drug abuse.
Did you stay in school during that time, or?
No, I was always ditching. While I was in 6th grade, we would have daytime parties. The friends would always invite me, or if I would go to school, I'll go to school like an hour late, high, drunk already at
Yeah.
6th grade.
Yeah.
And or if not, if I didn't go to school, it's because we were doing some parties early in the morning. Doing a whole bunch of stuff.
Pull your mic in a little closer. We're
Yeah.
picking up a lot of ambient noise. So I just knows on my headphones.
just getting involved with a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have been doing at a young age. But by the age of 17, I found myself incarcerated for attempted murder, a rival gang shootout, retaliation for my brother. My brother had gotten shot 3 times. This was the first incident. My brother had got shot 3 times up close.
Different incidences.
He
Correct.
didn't die.
He didn't die.
He
at the
didn't
time.
die. He
didn't
got
die.
shot 3 times.
He got shot 3 times in the stomach, survived. He had to wear what do they call it, colostomy bag?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He had to wear that for almost 2 years.
While it healed up.
And it was incarceration. I was just so deep involved with that lifestyle. There was only 2 ways I was going to get pulled out. One, incarceration, and hopefully one day the light bulb will come on
Yeah.
while I'm locked up. or two, I was gonna have to be killed.
Yeah.
There was no way. You couldn't ministry me. There was no way.
So you got locked up, went to jail. What changes? You're in jail. I'm sure you have gang members in jail.
Correct.
I mean, how did you break that cycle?
Yeah. So I did altogether. I served about 5.5 years incarceration, and I was in Cook County Jail in the max for about 4 years and 3 months. During that term, I would say maybe my third year in, I just had hit rock bottom, and I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I was just so desperate. I was just so hungry. I was just so starving for just a glimpse of hope.
Wow.
I mean, the desire was there, but I didn't know where to seek or how to retrieve this glimpse of hope.
Did you have any kind of upbringing in church at all?
No, you mentioned that. It's funny because I gave my testimony to the youth that came today to volunteer, and I told them, they asked me, "Did you ever go to church when you were young?" I said, "You couldn't." And I said, "Why?" And I said, "Well, my father wanted me." So I joined the gang in 11. Maybe by the age of 13, my father was trying to take me to church. And I said, "You can't, Dad." He says, "Why?" "I don't want you to get shot because of me." The church was in the rival gang neighborhood.
Okay.
Danger zone.
Troy, can you imagine your 13-year-old son telling you,
You can't go. I can't go
can't
because I'll
go.
get you shot dead.
So there was not even a respect for that. I mean,
It wasn't a safe day. You couldn't go. It's church day. Everybody goes to church just as long as you're back by.
our church wasn't a safe zone, or
No.
no? Or I mean, I remember times where the gangs would wait for us, if you would.
They heard you went in. They're going to wait on you to come out.
yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Maybe there was a wedding or something at a church and they knew about it and they'll be
Even
outside.
a funeral or something they would.
Oh, and the funeral. I've been to funerals where the rival gang will come and shoot up the funeral home.
Right.
I've been there.
just because you cross the line, even for that.
Well, just again more retaliation.
Right.
So it's
it was
almost
just-
like country lines.
You
You.
can't even go to a funeral home and be safe.
Oh my gosh,
I've been there when they will do drive-bys.
Yeah.
just incredible.
Yeah, you can't even rely on the cops. Everyone has to bring their guns to the funeral.
So you're in prison. You're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
What turns a light on somewhere?
You know what? I don't want to say I was brainwashed, or mostly just deceived. I just didn't. I was taught to hate certain gang members, certain gangs because whatever,
Just who they were.
just because who they were.
Yeah.
But then when you get incarcerated, these certain gangs that you were taught to hate and kill on sight or fight on sight, no matter what, you have to become allies. So that had really messed me up because a lot of us had dedicated our life to this neighborhood and this gang, and then now you have to. It's a whole set of rules.
Different rules inside.
rules.
So now you're
have to
allied.
become allied against other
Who-
factions.
Correct.
Okay.
And so that had kind of messed me up.
And that only goes on the inside, but when you go back outside, it
It's the
reverts
same-
back.
Correct.
Okay, wow.
So that raised a lot of questions and really confused me.
Which is reality and which is not, right?
correct.
Right.
So,
Right.
That's good.
And it's
man,
inconsistent.
I was shook and like, what is really going on here?
Yeah.
If it wasn't for incarceration, I would have never realized that.
So it's almost like I guess in my mind, it's like in the Wizard of Oz when they pull back the curtain and they find out this is not what it is. There's something else.
There's something
So
else.
it caused you to begin to question.
Questioned. And then again, at this time, I was hungry for something and I wanted to be done with the lifestyle. I had a taste, a glimpse of what it would be like if I was locked up for murder.
Yeah, it could be forever.
Because now, 3 years later, I got some time in. The guys who I'm supposed to get along with, I'm not getting along with them. I'm getting along with guys who are fighting murders because these guys are not going nowhere.
Oh.
And who's fighting murders? It's a lot of people, but some of my closest friends that I built a relationship with were guys who were opposite gang members. And these guys, again, were not going nowhere because they're fighting murders. Now I have a mindset that I feel like I'm fighting a murder because I feel like I'm never getting out of here. And every moment, every day that passes by, there's a chance where I'll catch another case inside.
Right.
Whether it's attempted
Just to
murder.
defend your life or to
Defend
protect
your life,
yourself,
yeah. Right.
and just it's like a cycle. It's like a bad dream, nightmare you can't get out of.
Yeah. Yeah, you feel like you're just in limbo. You're lost. They call it the outside world. And it was It was just a place that would seem so dark. But the Gideon ministry would volunteer their services.
Are we talking about the Gideons that put the Bibles in the
Correct,
hotel?
correct.
That go into
Yeah.
prisons and just simply present a Bible?
Yeah.
The Gideons, the
The
old school
Old
Gideons.
school. Still put it in the work.
I know Gideons are still working.
Yeah.
They have sent Bibles with me all around the world and country on my trips. The Gideons.
The Gideons.
What do the Gideons do?
So every weekend, I believe it was a Saturday or Sunday, they would go to the what they call the bubbles, and they would just preach to everyone. They knew that gang members cannot just go up to them and
talk
receive
to
the
them.
word and talk to them. So what they would do is they'll stay there for about 30 minutes, and they'll just preach the gospel, and they'll just pray over us
Yeah.
while nobody's even talking.
So you're absorbing
engaging.
that,
Yeah.
but you can't engage it.
Right.
You're absorbing.
Right. One day I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and the biggest thing is fear, and I just wanted my chains to be broken. I wanted to be set free,
Yeah.
and and I wanted Christ in my life. This time, generally, not God, get me out of this, and I'll do this or whatever.
Right.
I
want
wanted that
free.
relationship, and I just knew that this life, I just felt that incarceration was going to save my life. That lifestyle was not intended for me. There was a whole new life awaiting for me. I just had faith. I knew that, and that sensation just started to burn more and more. That just made me go to that Gideon to go up there and to receive prayer.
That's amazing.
And he just put his hand over my shoulder,
And you were taking a huge risk.
huge
Huge
risk,
risk.
Do that.
and he just said one word: repent.
Wow.
Repent, repent, and he led me to the Lord right there.
That's
in the
amazing.
Lord prayer,
Wow.
and I just felt a huge relief, a huge load off my shoulders.
But that's a Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego moment when you're coming and letting this man of God in the place pray for you in front of everybody else who's kind of bowing to the system, so to speak, to take that risk. It was like you were risking your life at that point in time
was.
for the gospel's sake. So
I was.
what happens? How do you go back? What happens when you turn around and go back?
I turned around. I had a meeting with a couple of guys inside and said, I seriously want to be done. That was it. I said, I'm asking you to either respect and honor that. If not, I'm willing to face the consequences.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do what you got to do.
I just
Put me in the furnace.
yeah,
But I'm not going to do this. I'm not doing it. I'm done.
I'm done.
So did these guys? Did they threaten you? Did the Holy Spirit speak to them somehow?
No,
What happened?
There was a 50-50. There was some, whether they're inside or outside, felt a certain way, and but for the most part, the guys inside, who had more control, honored that and said, "You don't have to worry about nothing."
We're still going to watch over you.
But yeah,
We respect that.
yeah, and so I did that, and I remember the Gideon member encouraged me to start going to services, get to hang around people that know the word, let them introduce the word to you, and form some type of Bible study, and just try to. I remember when he first told me the best way to build a relationship with Christ is through His Word, and yeah, I remember I'll read a verse here and there, and there was times where I would starve and I had nothing to eat, and I would just have the Bible. I'll sleep on my back, and I had the Bible over my chest. I'll fall asleep just like that. Wow! Just to get me through.
That's amazing.
Man,
And so you get out of this prison. You're in Cook
Well, how
County.
long did you
Right.
long did you stay in prison then after that happened?
so at Cook County Jail, I did 4 years and 3 months there. Really quick, the reason why I did so much time there, because the typical, even for attempted murder like me, fighting that case, you don't stay there that long. But I went to different paid attorneys. I had 3 paid attorneys, and then my 4th one was a public defender. My first paid attorney was Italian. He worked for he was for the organization. He got locked up for cocaine himself.
Oh no!
Oh, gosh.
Lost
Yeah.
so your case starts over.
So yes. So every time that's what happens. So that was the problem. So anytime you get a new attorney, your whole case starts all
What?
New motions, new
motion
discovery,
exactly.
New discovery.
That's
yeah.
They have
not
to-
your
oh,
fault.
no.
That's-
It's not.
And you're just stuck in there.
I'm so all over again, a whole nother year. That exactly that's
and,
what happened.
and then you're down to a public defender, and they're like
And I could get
stuck with you.
Yeah, he's like, "You've been here this long?" I was like, "How long you been here?" I said, 4 years, 4 years and 3 months. He goes, "Oh." He goes, "Why was the other one trying to offer you 18 years for this case?" Oh, and the other case, I got caught with knife, what they call shanks. I had 3 of them in the cell. So they put a case, the state's attorney put a case on me. So now I'm fighting 2 cases. He goes, why is he trying to give you 18 years and this is your first time here? He goes, I can give you 6 years and drop the other case.
Wow.
I was like, dude, where you been?
Where have you
We
been?
wasted all this money
Yeah.
and time. But of course,
God had you there,
God,
though.
God had
God
me
had
there.
you there.
God
for
had
you.
me there.
There was a
No,
time
no,
that you
yes.
need to be there, and you look back
Yeah.
and look at that. I mean, that's kind of where I've been too. It's crazy. I've had crazy 10 days. My stepfather dying, and it's all been painful in that. But I've learned if you look up to God and you look around, sometimes you find out why Joseph took 20 years to get to where he has. You find out why it took Moses so long. Sometimes God makes us sit in places
Yeah.
just so he can work on us.
Yeah.
And so you can see, now you can look back and see God had a plan for you
Yeah.
despite what had happened.
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
grace is out there.
So now this journey has started for me, this new chapter, right? Because I'm trying to build a relationship with Christ and trying to get to know him. And the problem was for me is that I was assured, I knew there was grace and mercy for someone like me. But the problem was it was difficult for me to forgive myself
For what
Right.
you've done. Yeah.
Yeah.
for everything
Because
I've
you
done.
found Christ, and now you're thinking, how do I reconcile this?
I just felt so ashamed. They're like, there's no way there's that much grace for a person like me.
Oh, my.
And that was my biggest.
I've heard that from so many people. I've heard that from, way back in my early ministry, I've been in ministry 35 years. I had guys that died in my first church that were from World War I, and they had mustard gas. They'd seen kids, mustard gas killed other kids, and they were in war.
Yeah.
And then on their deathbeds, they had never forgiven themselves. One of them called and confessed everything to me and said, will God forgive me? And I said, you've been going to church with me for all this time. You don't know that God loves you. You don't know what I've seen. You don't know what I've done,
Right.
And it haunted him his whole life
Yeah.
to his deathbed.
Yeah.
And I said-
I got so many friends there. They're still alive, and they're from the gang from the neighborhood, and they feel the same way to this day, man. And I'm still trying to minister to them and say, hey, man.
You know what's
Yeah,
interesting is
there's-
the devil
Yeah.
traps us in thinking that grace is not possible, that his blood is not sufficient. And we saw this when we do our work in Thailand through Hands of Hope. We find the Thai people, they get caught in this cycle of being reincarnated, they think. And so if they had a bad life, they might sell themselves into prostitution. The parents might sell their children into prostitution, and the child will go into prostitution actually voluntarily because the parents sold them to need money, thinking, if I do this, I'll come back better the next time. I will do prostitution and helping my parents with the money from my prostitution being sold. Their God will, or the karma will bring them back. And so there had no belief in Buddhism there that God could change you now. You got to pay the ultimate price first. So there's like no hope alive. And then Christ is like, here we have Christ who can give it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can take a sinner, no matter what they've done, and he can forgive them right then.
Yeah.
And what you were involved in is just another sin. It's no different than somebody that's had adultery or somebody else that's been a thief. Or I mean, Moses was a murderer.
Yeah.
I mean, Moses was a worse dude than you. I mean, he hit it too.
Paul. Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and once you learn those stories, how have you today? You are such a man of hope. And when you work around people, what was the key for you turning the door from being guilt ridden to now saying, I'm the director of the Heron House of Hope? What turns that? How'd you get past that? Help people out.
Oh my goodness. Again, as I mentioned, God's grace, God's mercy, God's love. Building a relationship with him, it was the best thing I ever did. That desire, that appetite, that just being starving, being hungry. And for me was, I got a verse here. And I remember when I was incarcerated and how I came down here. Paperwork was ready for me to go back to Chicago.
So you were down here. Okay, you were down here in a trustee program.
Correct.
After you got out, you had to be on probation or something for a certain time.
Yeah.
And that's how you got from Chicago to Southern Illinois. So tell us your scripture. I want to go back.
No, I came down here just on faith. When I came down here,
You had to pick a place someplace.
I was in a halfway house. In a halfway house. Didn't know anybody, didn't have a job, didn't have $1 in my pocket. I just knew with the little time I had to build a relationship with Christ and to get to know him and get to know his word, with the little time I knew that he was going to take care of me, and I knew he had a plan. I knew he wasn't done with me. I knew.
And you chose Southern Illinois instead of the south side of Chicago.
Yeah. I remember when I was getting interviewed to come down. I had to get interviewed because of my game background. And I said, well, they asked me at the end of the interview, do do you have any questions? I recall asking, what's the gang population like down there? They looked at each other, started laughing.
Yeah.
I said, why they're laughing? He goes, you must mean what's the deer population?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gangs. It's the gangs from Chicago coming to shoot our deers. That's about it. Yeah.
I said, man, what am I getting myself into? And that's just when I knew it was going to be a culture shock.
It's such
Oh,
a
yeah.
change. The first time I grabbed John, I said, John, jump in the car. We're going to go show you something. We got out someplace. I jumped out of the car. I left my wallet, left my keys in the car. Right? He's like, hey, you need to lock your car. You left your keys in the car. I said, man, you're not in Chicago anymore. You're in Southern Illinois. Yeah. That's okay. It'll be here.
Yeah.
It was like just unheard of stuff. So what's that script? Tell us your
Yeah,
scripture.
it's Hebrews 11:6, man. It was one of the first scriptures I got in. I remember reading when I was locked up. And without faith, it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. The good news, have faith in what is not seen, for God rewards us for our belief in him, and his rewards when we don't need to see to believe. Faithful servants are rewarded for their commitment and dedication to work in whatever is committed into their hands.
So you got down here on that scripture. You got in the halfway house. Somewhere you got connected up with the local social service organization. And at some point in time, they said, we've got a guy that is our best of the best. All they told us was he did time. He's a trustee now down here. He's in our program. He's the best of the best. And I think he'd be perfect for this program. I was like, no way. We can't handle that. He's not going to work. And then in walks you. What got you here? Why were they trying to sell you? So they undersold you. Yeah. The guy believed in you, but he undersold you. I mean, what got you from here to being so trusted so quick?
Wanted to serve.
Yeah.
Wanted to serve and just wanted to be utilized as a vessel. It's my everyday mission, man. Waking up, trying my best every day, waking up to surrender to his will.
Wow.
And then not only started my day off like that, but also to remain just being a vessel and just try to keep it simple from there.
So was it just the Gideons that helped you to grow?
The Gideons
In the prisons there.
Yes. And then I went to Southwestern Illinois Correctional Center, SWIC, which is a therapeutic program, minimum state prison, and received a lot of counseling there. And they taught me and helped me, some of that, those wounds, for so long I've been putting a Band-Aid over the wounds, but they really helped me get in there.
Dig those out.
Yeah.
And so when you walked into the room that day to interview, where were you coming from? What had you been doing right before that?
Gosh, I was a little bit of everything. I was working part-time. I was going to school at Johnny Logan. I was working for LSSI Prisoner and Outreach Ministry, where I met my wife. I was also doing a housing program. I was a housing coordinator.
Supervising other
people who were on parole. So I did that for a while, where I lived with other men. So not only I was in the halfway house for almost 4 months, living with men, and then the parole actually approached me. Would I be interested in starting like this transitional housing to live with other men who are coming from?
And you're like a resident, like in a dorm, you're like the resident supervisor for that.
Yeah.
Now, can you throw out, I know I'm going to jump 10 years to now. Last week, you didn't show up at the Ministerial Alliance meeting, which you're a part of.
Right.
And it was a special meeting, and I was in Florida. I was online, and they said, "Where's John?" And I said, "I don't know. He should be here." And it was a special call meeting. And so he probably has a better reason. And then Pastor Mike spoke up and said, "He's at Menards."
He's in prison.
So are you? Did they take you back to prison? Are you in trouble again? What's up with that?
No, I hope not. Not that I know of, but goodness. So, promise God, I will never return to prison.
You promised you never return.
I'll never return.
Have you
to
broke?
prison.
Have you broke that promise in some way?
In some way.
Okay, tell everybody how.
Yeah, again, that's to be a servant, only to be a servant. So today, I'm invited to go to every state prison, every state correctional center in the state of Illinois to speak, give my testimony, and share about Heron House of Hope and how they can utilize our services when they return to the community.
Wow.
So,
That's so great.
It's a thing called Reentry Summit. And so Reentry Summit is where it's an event they coordinate where they allow agencies, vendors, organizations, state vendors to come into the correctional center, and think of a job fair, but it's just a
Yeah,
resource.
right,
So they'll have different speakers for different organizations. I'll go out there, I'll speak for about a good 30, 45 minutes, give my whole testimony, what I've been through, let them know what gang I was affiliated with. And then I say, hey, come to our table. Let us pray with you. Let us give you some flyers.
You've become the Gideon back in the prison now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Tell me, what are some examples of prisons you've been to back?
So last Wednesday I was at Menard. I'll be going to Murfreesboro this Thursday. I'll be going to Murfreesboro. I've been to Vienna. I've been to Shawnee. I've been to Southwestern Illinois Correctional Center where I was myself.
Wow.
I've been to the prison up north as well. I just
What,
all over.
did I see like you,
Centralia.
have I seen? Did I see some sort of correctional facility award in your office?
Yes. They it's like a Bhutan, I believe.
A Bhutan.
Yeah.
You've been on the other side of that Bhutan, I think, right?
yes, I have.
So you have a baton where they've awarded him
Yeah.
for what he's doing to give back to people that were in a position like him.
That's great.
Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy?
they wrote on a special thank you for, yeah.
It's a new use of a baton
Yeah.
to honor that. And if you're sitting out there, you understand why we call it the Amazing Heron House of Hope.
Yeah.
But behind that is an amazing person in John Steve and your family. And I just a privilege to know and work with you.
Now, I wanted to ask
Yeah.
you one other thing to go on back to your brother that was shot and injured and survived that.
So that was another reason how I kind of let down here. Was let down here because when I was incarcerated, so much had happened. Could write a book.
And you should.
And you
You
should.
need to.
Yeah.
IA, Itinerant Affair, had called me inside for a visit. And I was clueless. Their job was to inform me give me some information from one of their informants who happened to be from my neighborhood to inform me that there was a hit on me.
Wow.
Turns out the hit was not on me, the hit was on my brother.
Oh.
And that's how he ended up getting shot 9 times.
Was he in prison at the time? Or was he out?
No, I think he was out already.
Okay.
And I recall every day I would call him, and I would try to convince him to come down here. So you don't have to look over your shoulder. People wave at you. People stop and ask you if you need a ride. People are nice down here. People don't care about your background. They want to know. They want to help you
Yeah.
achieve your goals. You know, he wasn't done giving up the lifestyle, unfortunately. So
Yeah. But he did
yeah.
then get shot and killed.
So I'm glad that I was told that information because I think that was just like the icing on the cake for me to make the decision to come down here.
Yeah.
I was already praying to God for a sign and everything else, and
Man.
that was the push.
And now today, Soup Kitchen. We're not just a soup kitchen. I like
No.
that.
No.
I got to change. That's what it should say though. We're
Yeah.
not food pantry, thrift store, bike program, catering, GED program, AmeriCorps. So many people. So
And I
many
got a
lives.
verse that I know that's one of your favorites too, and I know we're getting there on Wednesday nights, but this is where I see House of Hope fits in, and I think we need to put it on our webpage on the front, when it talks about the sheep and goats.
Yeah.
Oh, you agree?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Matthew 31.
Go ahead, read it. Yeah.
When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, he will sit on his glorious throne. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate the people one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. Then the king will say to those on his right, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me."
Wow.
Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invited you in, or needed clothes and clothed you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you?" The king will reply, "Truly, I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." Then he will say to those on his left, "Depart from me, You who are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes, and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison, and you did not look after me. They also will answer, Lord, when did we see you hungry, or thirsty, or a stranger, or needed clothes, or sick in prison, and did not help you? He will reply, truly I tell you, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me.
Just amazing, amazing, amazing. John came in that room. He shared his heart just like this, and we've been friends ever since.
Yeah.
I'm your pastor today, and I'm honored to be your pastor. Mother Beth and I are just a privilege to get to know you. Hey, guys, if the House of Hope, you've seen the story, you're hearing about it, heronhousehope.org. Go there, the website, check it out. But John is always looking for churches, organizations,
Yes.
businesses, individuals. If you want to support this, and John will come talk to you. He'll come talk to your organization. He'll talk to your group. I mean, he'll share his heart with you. And you want to find out more about it and get involved with serving, find out about the amazing Heron House of Hope, find out also about the guy behind it. John started from day one with us, and he's here 10 years later and over 300,000+ meals later and hundreds of GEDs later and so much more later. And I'm just thinking, John, as we wrap up this, and we're going to come back in a minute for part 3, and you're an example. I've been around some miracles this week. I've got miracles that we see somebody gets healed, or and somebody else that this happens. I was just thinking, you're a miracle of multiplication. The Gideon guy that went in there and shared the gospel and risked. He went in and just offered Christ to you. And what I mean by miracle of multiplication, when that little boy brought his fish forward and they said, here, Jesus said, let me take this. And he didn't just feed one person. Jesus fed a crowd. And then there were basketfuls left over. Mm-hmm. You are a miracle, I consider, of multiplication. You responded, and, thousands of people are being fed today. They're getting food in their car. They're getting GEDs. It's like you were broken, and through you and your brokenness and your hope, you are a projector for our organization. You're just a projector, and you are like, you're just like baskets and baskets full of bread and fish, and if we have watermelons, or if we have sweet potatoes or bread or whatever, if you need something, the Heron House of Hope is a projection of that, and you've got a guy that's there leading that understands no matter what you've done, you're not going to surprise him. Right. He's from the south side of Chicago. Now, I want to close before I wrap up here, but I just want people to think you can go there and figure out how to donate. Go their sponsored day programs. There's ways to connect with John there. Check that out. But John, I know that your nephew, when he was here, he loved the day, but he started off by not understanding a place where he could, talk to a reporter about something that's not violent, not be shot. That was a part of your life. That was a part of his life already. But now you have 3 beautiful kids who haven't grown up in that. And what is it like to have kids that don't? Your kids grew up talking about being a Power Ranger.
Yeah.
Not in a game.
No.
Your kid grows up wanting to be Spider-Man or Superman. I see your kids do that.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to be different for them?
Oh man, the amount of opportunities and everything they will, just the opportunity alone for me to be able to, what I would be able to teach them and give them, not just physically but spiritually, and that support, that mentorship, and not have the barriers or obstacles or challenges that I had as a kid, or my father, for example.
Do they go to church with you without fear of getting shot?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
They can go to church. They know their weekdays because of Wednesday night service. And
they know.
Sunday morning.
They keep you reminded, it's time to go.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
I'm
gonna snitch on Marco. Jesse, my middle one, he loves church more than Marco.
Oh yeah. The miracles, the miracle multiplication is continuing to happen through your family, being raised in a total different way. And you're a miracle in our life. It really have changed so many lives. We're gonna be back in the finale, not just the finale of the Heron House of Hope, the amazing Heron House of Hope, but this is the finale of season 2. We're going to be back for season 2 finale, part 3 of the amazing Heron House of Hope story, the backstory on the Heron House of Hope. We're going to tell you a little bit of how he got started and kind of get you into today. And we're going to be back to talk to you that at On the Dock doc.org. Find out more. You can ask questions at info on the doc.org. We'd be glad to tell you how to get in contact with John and get more information. Go to heronhousehope.org to do that as well. John, it's been so good to have you here. Mother Beth, great work today. Lucas, just amazing, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucas has been a part of so many of these family fun days, doing the productions for that.
yeah.
It just has helped raise. There's so many people that make this happen. But at the source of this, when we walk through that door, whoever's greeting, that smile reflects the smile that's on your heart. So I really appreciate that. Guys, join us at YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Facebook, Roku, Rumble, Sermonette. Put this out. If you'll share this with other people, maybe other people will help be a part of this miracle and will make this miracle go farther. Help it go viral. Share the story. It's a great story. Go watch part 1, part 2, and be back for part 3. Subscribe, hit like, notify. We'd love to have you as a Patreon. We'd love to highlight your ministry, your business, your Christian organization. Just reach out to us. 4 ways to partner, 3 ways to sponsor. And we'd always love to have you come and be a part of John's church and here at Community Faith Church. He attends here with his family. And Marco would love to have you. And all of them. We got to get him wanting to like church as much as his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. 10 o'clock on Sundays, 6:30 on Wednesdays. COFTV.com is our online website. You can check it out. Wherever you are, you need to get in a Bible-believing church. And I want to thank the Gideons out there for the work they do. If you've been a Gideon out there, you have blessed so many people. And I know the rewards are there. So check that out. We'll be back soon with part 3. I'm with Mother Beth. Thank you, Mother Beth. Thank you, Lucas. And thank you, John. We'll be back soon. I'm Pastor Troy. And you've been on the dock. Get this out there. Share it with others.